morning, my friends out there again. Miss Faye is back. And what did I tell you? This month, we are going to be doing some fairy tales. Well, this week, it's Little Red Riding Hood. Now, Little Red Riding Hood is a great little fairy tale, but it also has a meaning about stranger danger. We shouldn't always talk to strangers, and we shouldn't definitely not tell them everything. Let's see what happened to Little Red Riding Hood. We're so happy to have you back this morning. Welcome. Little Red Riding Hood was actually this one was wrote by a publishing company. It did not have a specific author, but somebody did write it. They just didn't put their name to it. So here we go. Everyone in the village, around the woods, knew Little Red Riding Hood because she always wore a little red velvet cloak. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother asked her to take some food to her grandmother, who didn't quite feel so good, and she'd been alone for quite a while and had no visitors, so they worried about her. Little Red Riding Hood left at once, promising to stay on the path and go straight to Grandma's. But on the way, Little Red Riding Hood met a big, very furry wolf. "Where are you going, Red Riding Hood?" he said, but in a friendly voice. "To Grandma's. She's been alone for a long time, and we're worried about her, so I'm going to go visit her." "Is it very far?" "Oh, not very." "Well, which way is it?" "Just through the woods," she told him, pointing the way as she skipped along the path. "Well, wouldn't your grandma like a bouquet of wild flowers?" he asked, trying to trick her. "Oh, what a good idea," said Red Riding Hood. And she left the path to gather some flowers and didn't go straight to Grandma's. The crafty wolf, he ran ahead as quickly as he could to Grandma's cottage, thinking only of the lunch those two could be. Ooh, what do you think he planned on doing to him? The wolf knocked on the door. Tap, tap, tap. "Who is it?" said the grandma. "Oh, it's little, it's Little Red Riding Hood." "Oh, come in," said the grandma in her nice grandma voice. And with a hop and a skip, the wolf threw open the door, grabbed Grandma, and threw her into a shed. The wolf quickly dressed in Grandma's nightgown and cap. He jumped into bed, pulling the covers up, and waited for Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood came at last, and she said, "Granny, Granny." The door was open, so she tiptoed in so as not to wake her grandmother. Little Red Riding Hood, she put her flowers on the table that she brought Grandma, and her food, and then she went over to look at Grandma. And she went by and she said, "Granny, such large eyes you have." "Oh, the better to see you with, my sweet." "But Granny, such big ears you have." "Oh, the better to hear you with, my sweet." "But Granny, such large hands you have." "The better to hold you with, my sweet." "Grandmother, such big teeth you have." "The better to eat you with." And he pounced and he grabbed her and he stuck her out in the shed. He thought, "I'm not too hungry right now. I think I'll wait till a little bit later, because I think I'll just sit here and lay down and rest a little bit." And that's where we end. Because you know how Miss Faye always likes to change up her books and the ending. Well, Did it again today. So right now, we are going straight in to the puppet show of Little Red Riding Hood, and we're going to see how it ends in our puppet show. You ready? Here we go. All right. Now, if you remember from the story, who was first? It was a little girl in a red coat. And everybody knew her because she always wore her little red coat. And her name was, what was it? I'm checking you guys out there. If you're listening, you will be telling me. Oh, maybe you are. I do kind of hear you say, Little Red Riding Hood. And Little Red Riding Hood was going somewhere. To her what? I hear you. Grandma's house. So off she went, singing her little song as she went. I'm off to see my grandma, dee-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm off to see my grandma, da-da-ba-ba-da-dee-da. But all of a sudden, in the woods, something else popped up she wasn't expecting. It was the wolf. Oh, hello there, little girl. I see you're in the woods today. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm going to visit my grandma.
Your grandmother? Wow, why are you doing that?
Well, we've been worried about her because we haven't seen her for so long.
Oh, that's a nice, kind thing to do. Where does she live?
Oh, she lives through the woods and down the path.
Oh, well, wouldn't you like to take her some flowers?
Oh, that would be a great idea.
Well, look over here. At that, he picked up a really pretty flower, and he gave it to Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, thank you so much, kind wolf. Well, I guess. Oh, look, there's more flowers.
Oh, yeah, lots of pretty flowers. Why don't you pick some more and take them to your grandma?
Oh, that would be nice. Okay.
So at that, Little Red Riding Hood kept going and picking flowers and putting them in her beautiful little basket. Meanwhile, the wolf decided, well, you know what? She's going to be busy for a while. I think I'll head to her grandmother's and surprise her. And then I'll be waiting for Little Red Riding Hood also. So the wolf darted off. He ran as fast as he could go to Grandmother's house. And when he got there, Grandmother was in there, and she was awfully sad. She'd been lonely for so long.
Oh, I wish someone would come see me. I'm so lonely. I haven't seen anybody in such a long time. Oh, please, if I say, Father, would you send me somebody, please? I really need help. I'm just so lonely.
All of a sudden, there was a knock on the door.
Oh, who is it?
Why, it's little,
It's Little Red Riding Hood. Oh, my granddaughter! Oh, how wonderful! Come in.
So the wolf, he opened the door, and he came in, and he pounced on Grandma, and he knocked her down, and he dragged her away and put her out in a shed. I'm not too hungry right now. I'll save her for later. After all, Little Red Riding Hood's on her way to see her. 2 is better than 1. So I better look around, though, and see what I can put on so she thinks I'm Granny. So he looked around the house, and he finally found a wonderful, wonderful, cute little bonnet, just like Granny would wear. And he put it on. Well, I think now I'll just rest a little bit till Red Riding Hood gets here. So he looked, and he saw her bed. And the wolf decided, I think I'll lay down. So he lay down in the bed, and he waited for Little Red Riding Hood to come. Pretty soon, here she came. Oh, come in.
Oh, Granny, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I came and brought you some beautiful flowers in my basket.
Oh, thank you, my little darling. Can you set 'em on the table?
Oh, sure, Granny.
So she did. And then she walked over to her, and she said,
My Granny, your eyes are so big. They're not anything like I imagined.
Oh, my darling, it's better to see you with.
But Granny, your ears, they're so big.
Better to hear you with, my dear.
But Granny, your hands, they're so furry. I don't remember 'em looking like that. All the better to hold you with when I give you a big hug. But Granny, your mouth, it's so big. I don't remember it like that. It's because it's better to eat you with, my dear.
And he pounced on her, knocked her down, and drug her out and put her in the shed with her Granny. He thought, you know what? This is just great. I think I'll stay here for a while and just take my time till dinner. Then I'll have a nice, juicy dinner. Well, he did. He just stayed in the house, but pretty soon there was another knock on the door.
Well, who could that be?
He jumped back in the bed, and he said,
Come in.
And at that time came in a gypsy violinist, and he knew Granny from every time he'd visit. And he came in and he said, Oh, my Granny, you do look different, but I come to see you like I always do, and to play for you like I always do.
Oh, sure, I remember you.
But the gypsy wasn't fooled. He looked, and he knew that wasn't Granny. He could tell that was a wolf. So he said to the wolf, Oh, my Granny, wouldn't you like me to play for you like I always do?
Oh, yes, that would be nice.
'cause the wolf didn't want him to know who he was. So the wolf lay down, and the gypsy picked up his violin bow, and he played a song for Granny. Pretty soon, the wolf was asleep, and the wolf never knew the gypsy had a magical violin. It put people to sleep, and whatever he told them, they would do. "Oh, Mr. Wolf, you thought I could be fooled, but I wasn't fooled. I knew you wasn't Granny. So with my magic violin, I put you to sleep. And while you're asleep, you will wake up, not remembering Granny, Little Red Riding Hood, nothing. And you will look around. You will want to leave this place and never return. And from then on, you will never be mean to people again. So, I will leave now and take Granny and Little Red Riding Hood safely away." And with that, the gypsy left. He went outside and he heard, "Help, help!" And he went to the shed and he found Granny and Little Red Riding Hood. He took them home. And when the wolf woke up, "Oh my, what a wonderful sleep I had! And what a strange feeling I have! Oh my, where am I? And what is this I've got on my head? My goodness, what is going on? This isn't like me. I don't wear a hat. And where am I? And I don't like being here. I'm going to leave. I'm going to move. And I'm never coming back until I feel like a kindness has come over me. And I want to be nice to people. Wow. I do feel different. Oh well. It feels good, so I think I'll head out and find a new place in a new world." Dun, dun, dun. And with that, the wolf left. So, the Little Red Riding Hood and Granny, they went home with the wonderful gypsy. And he went with them to make sure they safely got home. But remember, the whole story was about stranger danger. If Little Red Riding Hood had done what her mother said, not anybody in the woods, wherever, started talking to him, telling him everything she knew, and then stopped and picked flowers, even though she had a kind heart. That's not what her mother told her to do. She said, "Go straight to Granny's." So out there, remember, strangers, you don't just go up and talk to them. You stay with your parents, you do as your parents tell you, And always have them with you so that if they introduce you, it's okay. But you don't wander off and just meet strangers on your own. So I hope you enjoyed our Little Red Riding Hood story and all our characters, and especially the magic gypsy playing his beautiful song, Ave Maria. And so with that, we are doing our heartfelt wishes. Cross your arms. We are sending all your heartfelt wishes up. We are wishing you safety, healthy, peace of mind, and a new beginning that we hope we can see you soon in the future. All here at Grace Lutheran Preschool and the church love you and miss you so very much. Our love goes out to you.